where basically I go into what I call Uncle Boyce mode. And Ask Uncle Boyce means that you can ask me any question that you want to ask as long as it's not related to finance or business. So you guys know that normally every day on the Black Financial Channel, I'm always doing financial stuff. I'm always doing business stuff. But what I found is that there's a lot of young people who could just use good advice. Like, I think everybody needs good advisors in their lives so you don't do stupid shit, so you don't make bad decisions. I'm not telling you what to do, but I think having more information will help you make better choices when it comes to all the things you're trying to do. So I decided that I would go full Uncle Boyce mode. And, so as going full Uncle Boyce mode, I'm going to go ahead and throw myself out there. It's a little bit weird. If it doesn't work for you, then let me know. Don't let me know. Just don't. You ain't got to watch. But this is really more so for anybody that just wants advice on topics that have to do with life. I'd like to share what I know and what I've learned and just give you a perspective. So that's what it is. So the first question I got to answer was one that was actually submitted on my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. And there was a sister who wrote, Charisse writes, how do you conquer depression? And so that's really serious. And I will say this, conquering depression, it depends on the situation. I am not a therapist, so I'm not somebody who's going to, be able to necessarily diagnose certain things in a certain way, because depression hits different people in different ways. But it is to be taken very seriously. And I understand depression because I used to feel a lot of depression. I don't know if my depression was worse than other people's, but I remember being young and really depression was just a big deal for me. I'll say that. And so what I will say is, if that therapy really does go a long way. Therapy, coaching, that kind of thing. It just goes so far because they give you tools to help you deal with whatever you're feeling. So look into that. And then if that's not an option right away, go to the internet. You can literally Google like how to conquer depression, how to deal with depression. And there'll be therapists that have written articles. And so for some people, maybe something is basic. Like for me, what it was as basic as positive thinking. Like I became an optimist. I became very conscious about my thoughts. I don't allow negative thoughts to sit with me for very long. I just don't do it. Because I don't want to get into that sunken place of negativity. So I keep positivity in my head all the time. I'm always repeating positive things inside my head. If you were inside my head, you would think I was crazy because I'm constantly repeating affirming, positive, strong, empowered thoughts. I don't want to be weak. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be in a sunken place. So that's, that worked for me, but it doesn't mean it'll work for everybody. So get on the internet and look it up, and also try to see if you can get some counseling. Somebody else asked, why do we celebrate mediocrity? I think that's a habit. I think that remember, we're trained to be oppressed. We're not just oppressed. In order to cage an animal, you got to teach the animal how to get comfortable in the cage. That makes it easy. You don't have to fight the animal if they want to be in the cage. So, basically, we are trained to embrace our oppression. We like oppression. We love kind of being second fiddle to the white man. Like we love sitting around complaining about what the white man's doing to us. And I think that's very defeatist. So for example, if you're reading every book you can get your hands on and busting your butt, working hard every day, starting businesses and really pushing yourself as far as you can go, then I get that. Then you're probably not going to be oppressed, black or not, but what happens is if things, push you to give up on yourself, then you're going to be easily oppressed. Let's see here. Now, somebody asked, am I still working out? Yes, I do run, if you want to call it that. It's enough to at least, keep me from getting fat. I missed the depression answer. Check the recording system. It's right there. I was basically saying, Google it. First of all, Google is your friend. You have no idea how many times when back in the day, like if I went through a tough relationship problem or whatever, you could Google stuff and you'll find experts that have written good articles with credentials, right? That can give you tips that will actually help you. If you're trying to figure out how to get over a breakup, Google it. If you can get a therapist, get a therapist, if it's that serious. And for me, it was really like that positive thinking. When I started really pushing myself to have positive thinking, that just did a lot. How do you deal with haters? Sometimes your critics could be right. So you have to kind of acknowledge that sometimes. But then you have to figure out, I discern where are you coming from? Like, are you coming from a place where you truly care about me and you're trying to make things better, this is constructive criticism, or are you just being destructive because there's a deficiency in you that's reflective in the way that you're talking and addressing me, right? So there are people that are just jealous. There are people that are mad because they're failing and you're not. So success is a great way to get a lot of haters. So, you just kind of have to chalk it up to that. The fattest pig gets slaughtered. So basically, there are people, or Jay-Z, I think Jay-Z was saying that they like to make you king so they can cut the king's head off or something like that. And so basically, when it comes to haters, I definitely learned that number one, your biggest hater is usually yourself. Your biggest hater is yourself because you're the one who looks in the mirror and says, you're not worthy, I'm not good enough, why me, whatever, right? Well, really, ain't none of these people out here perfect. Everybody's flawed. So one of the things that I realized was when I would question, because we make mistakes, we go out and things go wrong. And you start saying, man, why was I doing that? Like, that shouldn't have been me. I shouldn't have been, maybe I shouldn't have tried it in the first place. But then I just realized, wait a minute, ain't nobody perfect out here, and I'm going to learn to love myself, warts and all. And really, I think self-love is really the key to confidence and dealing with haters. If you really love yourself, you can forgive yourself for not being perfect. So just love yourself and forgive yourself and then keep improving yourself. And I think you'll be okay. Let's see here. I don't believe Trump will leave office even if he loses. Your thoughts? Yeah, he might not do that. He might do that. It'll be interesting. I think he is going to contest the election if he loses, and I think that could be a problem. Why do I keep overeating a little here and a little there? Yeah, I have that same problem. First of all, a lot of eating is very emotional. Like I emotionally eat. Like if I get really stressed out, I'll be in the bed with a bag of Twizzlers, and a Pepsi or something, watching Netflix just to kind of decompress because there are hormones in sugar and in candy and processed food that actually, relieve stress, and obviously that's not healthy to do. So one thing that I do is I try to keep unhealthy food out of the house. Having an accountability partner helps. Alicia doesn't eat unhealthy food, so she pushes me and makes me eat better. She also makes me get up and go exercise every 2 days. We go running. I don't run very fast, but I just keep moving, and that makes a big difference. And so I think that goes a long way. Just don't keep, remember, treat yourself like a drug addict. You can't put crack around a dope head. Let's see. I inboxed my question. Okay, Monica, I can't get into my inbox, but I will take a look. Let me see. Do you have an opinion on NFAC? I think NFAC is. I like NFAC. I haven't seen anything that's been a problem. I think that they're doing a good job so far. How do you prepare for marriage? I think preparing for marriage. If I had my way, here's the thing. Divorce is really costly. Financially and emotionally, it will destroy your life. A bad relationship, there's nothing that will ruin your life worse than a bad relationship. Or if you have somebody that triggers you and you've got unresolved issues and they're not respectful of who you are as a person, or you don't feel that they are, and it will drive you crazy. It'll have you looking crazy. It'll mess up everything else that you got going on. It'll leave you broke. That's another big thing too. So relationship management is one of the most important tools a person can gain for your own well-being, as well as your own ability to simply get things done. People who can't manage relationships with other people, they can't even make a movie because they're fighting with everybody they're trying to make a movie with, or they can't have marriages. You can't build institutions if you can't get along with people. So the ability to manage relationships is really important for wealth and power building. I would, if I'm getting married, if I had it my way, I would have everybody who gets married take a class and pass the class. If you don't pass the class, then you can't get married. Because there are therapists that have tools that you can use that will help you get along better, that will help you to figure out how to communicate with each other. For example, a lot of you may not know about what they call the 4 horsemen of an argument. The 4 horsemen are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. I think stonewalling is the 4th horseman. And so basically, criticism means that you criticize the person, like you do this, you do that. That you're actually supposed to say I statements, like when this happens, I feel like that, instead of criticizing people. When you criticize somebody, they ain't gonna listen to you. Contempt is like talking down to somebody, like what you need to do is da 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 da, right? That doesn't work. That's only gonna shut them down and make them not want to listen to you. Defensiveness is when you don't acknowledge what the person's saying and you simply get defensive. Like, well, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Next thing you know, ain't nobody really talking. Everybody's just yelling. Nobody's really hearing anybody. And then I think stonewalling, if I'm not mistaken, I think stonewalling's like I walk away or I just don't want to be involved, like get out of my face or whatever. And so basically these are like four like things that happen in arguments that make you unable to even communicate with your partner. So learning some of those tools can be critical so that two people who really are trying to love each other can actually communicate with each other. So learn that. I mean, that's going to make a big difference for your life. I promise you. Let's see. Court Chappelle, I would like for you to speak on the difference between raunchy music in the 90s and raunchy music currently. I think raunchy music in the 90s actually started and created the raunchy music we have now. Like our generation started it. This generation is just taking it to the next level. But I would say that, when I think about, first of all, I think, the racist music industry has been the same no matter what. They've always wanted to, push black people into spaces that white people don't exist. Like, so for example, there's never been a white version of a Cardi B or even a Lil' Kim or Nicki Minaj. I mean, the closest you had was Miley Cyrus, but Miley Cyrus was never a super large pop star. She was known because she was Hannah Montana and she did a little bit, but there was no like household name like a Nicki Minaj or a Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. So I think that there's like these companies want that for black people. Like they feel like there's like it's almost like the way they'll feed you chitlins or they'll feed you really unhealthy food that they won't feed anybody else because they're like, well, whatever, black people will eat anything. So I think that that's always been in existence. I think that the interesting thing with the Cardi B stuff is that she's specifically rapping about like prostitution, like selling your body to a man for $10 and a trip to McDonald's. And I think it's a problem because little girls are mimicking this and memorizing these lyrics and doing TikTok dances to wet ass pussy. Like I don't personally think, as a dad, I'm not real comfortable with that. Because we also talk about those little girls when they get to be about 12 years old, they start getting sex trafficked, they start having sex with grown men, and these situations are not just straight up forced rape. These are situations where some of these girls really think they're ready for sex at an early age, and I would rather them learn about sex from their parents than to have them learn about sex from Cardi B. Because I think there are better women. I say better. There are healthier messages that I think that can be pushed to the community. So you have to ask yourself, why will all the radio stations play Cardi B all day, but they won't play India Arie? Have you heard India Arie's album? India Arie's album is amazing. Why won't you play India Arie on the radio, but you'll play Cardi B all day? But it ain't like black people are saying, well, we don't want to hear nothing about black women being beautiful and extraordinary. We want to hear wet ass pussy. Like, we don't do that. That's them. That's racism. So let me keep going. What are your thoughts on a young woman dating a young man who is not as growth oriented as she is? I wouldn't. I mean, you got to find somebody that's equally yoked. Honestly, I wouldn't. I mean, because you get frustrated. There's nothing worse than like a stupid person who doesn't want to learn anything, or a stupid person who thinks they know everything, and then you got to pretend like y'all are equal when really you're not. Like you done read 800 books and he's read like none. Like it's hard to make it work. But we hook up with people because maybe they look good or the sex was really good, and next thing you know you're dealing with a complete idiot. So I would encourage you to really really think strategically about your next steps and take your time before you link up with somebody in a significant way. She leads in the relationship but wants to be led by a more knowledgeable and grounded man. Then find you a more knowledgeable and grounded man. And if you're not finding that, then maybe you got to find out, like, okay, am I searching the wrong way? Am I looking in the wrong places? Am I identifying the wrong men? I don't know. I mean, because we all make mistakes, I've seen times where, back when I was in grad school, maybe there might be a girl who thought I was too much of a nerd. And there was one girl literally I can think of that I thought this girl was great, but I remember she was like, you're too square for me. And she ended up dating this guy who went to prison for murder. And I'm like, so I got to be a murderous thug to get your attention? That's your problem, not mine. So anyway, I'm asking because I feel like there's a contradiction happening between generations. Yeah, I think we're probably a little bit hypocritical. I ain't gonna lie. We review products and services from black-owned businesses. Okay, good. Black-owned, at black-owned, please. I like that. Let's see here. Water intake, yes. Water is really important. I keep a jug of water around me all the time. I listened to this guy who was like an Indian guy, And he was like, he studied all these cancer patients around the world, and one of the things that he said that the factors that he noticed. You okay? You need something?
Nicole's hair is done.
Oh, it's done. Okay.
You just did the last one.
Oh, your mom wanted me to know.
Oh no, I just did it.
Oh, thank you for telling me. Sorry, she wanted to tell me something. But one of the things he found was that the difference between people that get cancer and people that don't is like, he claims it's a lot of basic stuff like, do you drink enough water to clean out your system? Just bowel movements. Like, are you cleaning out your system? Are you getting enough sleep? What is your stress level? Like he said, those little four or five factors that are basic things are really a big deal in terms of your health. So I drink tons of water. Let's see, art of war. Don't put yourself in a position to lose. Keep the snacks out of the house. Absolutely. Just want to say thanks for everything. Wellness says, Dr. Boyce has been following your content since 2015. Oh, well, I love you too. Thank you very much. How can we stop the media from spreading negative images of black men or black people in general? I personally, I don't know how to stop everything, but I can say that I just feel, first of all, that it's important to speak about that, right? Even if I'm the lone voice in the wilderness, I think it through. And if it makes sense to me, I'm going to say it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make any sense to anybody else. And I think all of us have to kind of do that. But then on top of that, we have to own our own media. I think ownership of black-owned media is what's really important. So, it's like somebody said to me once, we were watching a movie, and he said, yeah, white people, they always celebrate their heroes. They put these white boys on a pedestal. And I say, yeah, well, we should be putting black men on a pedestal. It makes sense that white people would put their own people on a pedestal. Why are we waiting for them to put us on a pedestal? We should put ourselves on a pedestal, right? So I think that we have to stop waiting for other people to do anything for us and validate us. Like, I think we can validate ourselves, and we can ignore whatever they're doing. Like, it's not racist when a white man celebrates another white man, because I believe a black man should celebrate a black man. Black women should celebrate black women. Black men and women should celebrate each other, right? So I don't really I think sometimes things that we think of as racism really aren't racism. It's just favoritism, maybe. Favoritism should exist in any community, in my opinion. WAP, women acquiring properties. That's what I'm talking about. Why aren't black men interested in black women? I know a lot of black men who are interested in black women, but I know what you mean, though. I know, and I remember in LA, a lot of the guys out there didn't like black women, which I thought was really weird. What book do you recommend for a new entrepreneur? We're not going to talk about business. So when we do Uncle Boyce mode, we're talking about things that are not business or financial related. How do you prioritize things? I keep a list of 5 things that are the most important things in the world to me. Only 5 things. So it might be like my family, my health, my business, and maybe 1 or 2 other, other things. And that's all that matters to me. Like I have all the time in the world for those things, but I don't do anything that's off of that table. So I keep it limited, so I'm not trying to do everything for everybody all the time. And that's what I do. Look at you.
How do you like it?
I love it. Do you like your hair?
Yeah.
Look, go ahead, girl. Very cool.
All right, I know you're in the middle of your video, but
okay.
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Where's Chanel?
Oh, she's back there.
Is she spending the night?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
Yes, she.
Tell me.
I did mention that to you.
No.
Yes, I did.
You said she was coming over.
See how she's trying to trigger me. She's trying to.
It's fine though. I just like to know.
She's always in here fucking with me. Doesn't it? Okay, baby. I did tell you.
That's what's going on.
I did tell you.
The last.
I love your hair.
It's cute though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I gotta talk. We doing Uncle Boyce. So I'll be up in a little bit. All right, babe.
All right. I'll come back before I go to bed.
Okay, got it. Let's see here. What is your take on blacks being the real Jews the Bible speaks of? Honestly, that's not something that I wake up thinking about every day. I don't. Maybe it's just because how I was raised. I don't really think much about that, to be honest with you. Like I not that it's not important. Like if it's important to you, I respect that. It's just I just wasn't raised in a culture where I was really into that. I'm just me. I'm part of my community. We're special. We're amazing. We wouldn't, in my mind, we wouldn't be any more significant, any more amazing, any more special if we were Jewish. That's my 2 cents, honestly. 80% of black men are married to black women. Yeah, most black men do marry black women. If I want to double my money by November, we'll talk about that tomorrow. So go to the Black Financial Channel, theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's where I do all financial stuff. Can Auntie Alicia make a guest appearance? Yes, I will ask her to do that. Do you think that the black community needs to be more versed regarding Neurodiversity with our kids, autism, etc. Seems like our kids are behind because of lack of support and therapies. Sure, I don't disagree with that. I might think that the problem is a lot of these public school systems misdiagnose our children, and that's what I worry about. When are you coming back to California? I don't know, man. I want to come back. I love LA. It's just COVID. I mean, you can't do nothing. It seems like Madonna. Yeah, she's got a black son or something. He was doing a stupid dance on Twitter, but that's all I ever saw. Madonna doesn't make the content they make. Okay, let's see here. Clear Channel forced their music agenda in the 90s. Yep, they sure did. I Survived Prince in the 80s. Lil' Kim was the same. Okay. Let me scroll down. I'm looking. That song got you heated. Why aren't black women interested in black women like that? You mean black men? I don't know. I think black women are awesome. So I don't even, if you only like white women, I can't even identify with you. Are you still into health and fitness? Yes, I am. I'm just not, but I'm not a fitness nut. That's a weakness of mine. That's a weakness that I'm just confronting. But, so I don't want to be obese or anything, but I'll never be like, I'm not running another marathon ever again. I did that one time, no more. Let's see. Will this be saved? Yes. How many books do you read a month? I read a lot of articles. Honestly, I don't sit down and read entire books. Maybe I have an ADHD thing or something. I don't know. But like Powernomics, like I'll read a chapter of Powernomics at a time or something like that. But reading entire books, I kind of jump from thing to thing. I'm always reading, but not necessarily like sitting there reading the same book every day for like days at a time. The fact that you get thirsty means you're clinically dehydrated. You're supposed to drink water even when you're not thirsty. Yes, I drink water all the time. Let's see here. How do you feel? Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me see if I can make this thing. No, stop it. Oh, no, my phone's acting crazy. Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix it. Okay. I think I'm back now. Sorry about that. I lost you guys for a second. How do you feel about nonprofits? I have one, but I'm not necessarily digging into nonprofit stuff. Try co-parenting with a narcissist. Yeah, I would say don't make babies with narcissists, but if you're stuck in that situation, I think maybe seeing if you can get some counseling, like family counseling, could go a long way. Let's see here. We have to take the narrative back as a whole. Absolutely. Should we live to at least 20% below our income? Oh, that's a financial question. So no financial questions now. This is just Uncle Boyce mode. Uncle Boyce, this is all about life. Any question about life you have that's non-financial, non-business. Just listen to the Ice Cube video. Yes, I'm extremely impressed with what Ice Cube is saying right now. I'm not impressed with any other celebrity, really. Most of them are just saying the same BS because all of them are being invited to campaign for a certain political party and pretty much telling black people to vote for, either vote for nothing, or they're saying, well, we just want freedom and we just want equality and fairness for everybody. And I'm not into that. I think black people need specific solutions. That's what I believe. That reminds me, how is your movie night going? It's going very well. We've had thousands of people show up, and we're going to do another one. What does your shirt say? This is BBS. It stands for Black Business School. TheBlackBusinessSchool.com. TheBlackBusinessSchool.com. You can join for free. Get started for free. Let's see here. Can you name any Trump accomplishments for blacks? Not really. I mean, Trump, I can't think of anything he's done for or necessarily against black people. I see his position on the protests, Black Lives Matter, but I think it's more so, it's like Trump and Biden both hate black people. They both love black people. They both love black people. They both hate black people. To me, let me explain. Biden loves black people who are liberal, who are Democrats, who go along with his program, who do what he tells them to do. He doesn't like black people who are conservatives, right? Trump loves black conservatives. He treats them very well. He brings them into the White House. He has black friends. Right? I think he likes black women. I think he has something going on with Omarosa. I believe he did. He doesn't like black liberals. He doesn't like black people who do Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. And I know black people who are the same way. So I think sometimes what we see automatically, like, it's real strange. Everybody's trying to claim blackness. Everybody's trying to own blackness. So Biden's like, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And then Trump is saying, well, if you're a Democrat and you're just letting the Democrats tell you what to do, then that's not that you ain't black because the black community has all these problems and they're ignoring all these problems. I don't think anybody decides what blackness is except black people, and black people are different. So you have, I encourage you to, be black first for sure, but also claim your humanity first. Claiming your humanity first means that, you know what, just because I'm black and you're black doesn't mean we have to agree on every issue. We can't agree that our community matters first. Like, so for example, this week I'm going to have Eton Thomas on, who's a former NBA player, who's a very good friend of mine, who disagrees with me vehemently on this whole Trump Biden thing. But I told him, I said, I am not going to ruin our friendship over two people that don't care anything about either one of us. Because at the end of the day, you my brother. I'm going to respect you and befriend you no matter what. And I say the same thing to my friends that are Trump supporters. And that's just my opinion. They're not going to break us up. They're as friends. And they're just not going to do it. I'm not going to let it happen. So let me see here. Oh, she's got to show us too. You know what? She didn't. I didn't force her to, or I didn't want to drag her on the camera. But I guess I could have asked her to. I didn't think about that. I apologize. Do you believe in the law of attraction? Yes. I never hear you speak on spiritual. Yeah, I'm spiritual, but in a different way. Like Alicia is really deep into metaphysics, so she explains to me a lot of metaphysics concepts and hermetic principles and stuff like that. And she's got her favorite spiritual or some of her different channels she likes. Like she likes Brother Panic and Black Dot and some other people. Just a few people out there. And so I'm spiritual in a different way. I just believe in things like faith. Like to me, faith just says, if I do my best and I'm a good person and I work hard and I keep learning, eventually I'll be successful. Even if I'm failing right now, if I never stop and I do my best and I always get up and I work hard and I keep on hitting the reset button, eventually something good is going to happen. And so, and that's what happens. And I believe in the subconscious mind. That's why I believe deeply in positive self-talk. Like don't ever fill your head up with negative talk about yourself. Don't even allow that stuff to sit there. Positive. Just keep shoving it down your own throat, basically, until it just becomes a part of who you are. And then you'll sleep on it, and what'll happen is you'll start dreaming about it. And when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is sorting things out and deciding who you are. And you wake up the next day, and next thing you know, you've got all this confidence and you're successful and you don't even know where it's coming from. It's because your brain is like internalizing that. So, but the same thing can happen with negative stuff. If you're constantly talking about how you're a victim and, and it's terrible and it's so hard to be black and life sucks, then you're going to carry that with you, man. Like, don't carry that shit in your head, ever. Like, positive must be the rule of the day, and that'll help you. Because I believe that's at least if you want to know my rule, like, that's one of the things that keeps me going. It's like, if I start eating a bunch of negative shit in my head, I see myself go down. I see myself getting sadder and depressed. You seem to respect Nigerian culture a lot. Why? Well, first of all, I'm 1/3 Nigerian. I found that out on my DNA test. Number two, Nigerian culture is ranked very high among cultures that breed the most successful people. Success is a cultural phenomenon. There are some cultures that are more likely to identify their children as excellence and highly educated, delayed gratification, etc. And then you have some cultures that view themselves just as weak, helpless victims, and built for failure and built for misery, built for sadness. Unfortunately, I think our slave culture does that for us. It's easier to start a conversation about how hard it is to be black, how terrible it is, or why we can't do it, than it is to talk about all the things we can do. So the Nigerian culture has been identified as a culture that has very successful people because, one, they really value education. Like, basically, they're like, well, you might not have no money, but you can read a book. Seriously, like, imagine if black people read books as much as we memorize fucking hip hop lyrics and watch basketball games and shit and go to the hair salon. Like we, if we read books as much as we play football, if the black boys did, we would be extraordinary, but we don't do that, right? Also they said education, very high self-esteem, self-confidence, and also delayed gratification, where you sacrifice the present so you can have more in the future. Our culture is one that says you sacrifice the future so you can have more in the present. A lot of this comes from some of the music you listen to. I listen to lyrics really closely, and I remember one song where the guy said in the song, he said, we gonna ball today, F tomorrow. Like, I don't care about tomorrow. We gonna ball out today. Like, we living for today. Well, that's what they call instant gratification. And instant gratification is a recipe for failure. What has Trump done for black people? Probably not very much. Probably not much more than Biden or Obama. Do you vote? I vote, but I vote when there are reasons to vote. I don't know if I'm going to vote in the presidential election. I'm not sure yet. Can you talk about Jay Morrison Tulsa Fund report? I know that he's doing a private meeting with investors. Anybody who's not an investor in the Tulsa Fund, I'm not really sure why you're so busy chasing down Jay Morrison. I think that there's literally probably 50,000 funds out there, and you could be chasing any of those down. But for some reason, they're chasing down Jay, and they're not even invested in it. They're not helping. They're not trying to improve anything. I ain't with that. I'm not with, like, if you're gonna say something, then offer ways to make it better. But if you're just trying to destroy something, that tells me that you have a different agenda, and I'm not going to be a part of that. I don't see how the community will ever benefit by watching you go and destroy, a black business. I just don't see what the benefit is. Why favoritism? If you can here today, it's not because you're a favorite. It's because you earned it. I don't know. I think I like favoritism. I give favoritism to my family. I give favoritism to black people because I run a company and I get to be favorite. I have power. So power means that I get to do what the fuck I want. I get to help who I want. Nobody tells me what to do. So I encourage you to go get some power. And then at that point, you won't be sitting around wondering what a white man's going to do for you or didn't do for you. That just doesn't matter to me. He has no power in my space. Would you consider moving to the continent of Africa in the future? Absolutely. If I could get Alicia to want to go, I don't know if she'll want to go to do something like that. Read your IG. I am reading it now. Do you think some of the big time black athletes will attend HBCUs? Yes, I think everybody wants to be black now. I think that's awesome though. How do we get a proper diagnosis for a child? Just go see your doctor. Go see some experts. I imagine they can help with that. King says you really helped evolve and elevate my mindset. I'm glad I could help you, and I respect you for listening. A lot of people just don't listen, so. You can't help somebody who don't want to listen. And that's the other thing too. Part of the reason I did this whole Uncle Boyce thing, it was a little bit weird. I was like, I wonder if people are really gonna give a shit, what I have to say. But I did it because I wish I had an Uncle Boyce. I wish I had somebody like me to talk to about life when I was young, because I made mistakes because I just didn't know any better. So, that's why I'm doing it, because I'm thinking, there's people out there, maybe they don't have a daddy, or maybe their daddy was just stupid or not available or whatever, or, and so, I kind of figured maybe I can help, and support you, because I want to see you succeed. I want to see you happy. And I want to see you get what you want out of life. There's a formula out there for everything. There is a recipe for anything out there that you want out of life. Whether you want to get money, you want to be famous, you want to be happy, you want to find a great relationship. Like, there's a formula. There is a solution out there. You just got to go dig and dig and dig until you find the solution. That's really what I figured out over time. Is like there's really few problems out there that are not solvable. So you just got to go dig and find information and if the space that you're in, if the circle you're in isn't giving you the solutions that you need, then get in a different circle. Go talk to people that are outside of your thought zone. Like, we all live in like a box. We're all limited. We have a box that we live in where we all think like the people around us, and sometimes the people around you just can't help you. So sometimes you got to go outside of that and literally sit and listen to people who see things completely different from you, so they can help you shift your thinking. Let's see here. How can we make black men and black women more attracted to each other? That I don't know. I mean, I think that's a personal choice. I don't know. I mean, I personally talk about the black woman that I love. I do that deliberately because I want people to. I think black women should hear a black man talk about how beautiful black women are and how awesome I think they are, and also, I would feel like a little bit of a hypocrite if I was doing all this black talk, but I'm married to Becky. I would just feel like that was a little bit weird. How do you encourage a man who claims he doesn't love himself because he's not satisfied with himself? How do you encourage him? You just do it. You can just try. But sometimes you can encourage people. You can't. It's hard to change people. I've just found that it's very frustrating to try to change people. I've tried. I've had people where I've been like, come on, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. I got tired, I'm talking about people I've tried to change for decades. It's hard to change people. The best you can do is give them unconditional love and acceptance. Let them know that you're there for them. Offer as much help as you can. And then if they're dangerous, get the fuck away. If they're trying to pull you down, create boundaries. And that's what I do. I create boundaries. So if I have a loved one that I love who's making life choices that don't make sense to me, I just let them know, hey, I just want you to know I love you. I care about you. How you doing? Anything I can help with? And as long as it's not too much, I'll do it. They might be sending you a couple of dollars or lend you my ear on the phone. But really, I'll be like, okay, so how's your life? Right? Because your life is not my life. And I'm not going to make my life your life. Right? You making crazy choices. I'm not trying to be a part of any of that. But that does not mean I don't love you. But I'm not going to sit here and preach to you all day because people don't like that. People don't like being talked at. They just don't. So, but you can give support. You can, through your actions and through your words, give positive encouragement, things like that, because maybe people will come along eventually. But if you're waiting for those magical moments where people just evolve and grow and change, that's few and far between. It's very rare that somebody's just going to magically transform and morph into the person you want them to be. I just don't see it very often. What's the best advice your mother gave you? To do your best at everything that you do. Yeah, just, anything you put your mind to is going to pay off. So anything you put your energy into is going to pay off. Why do other people in the diaspora always talk down on Black Americans and say we have no culture? Because that's the way you're presented through media. Racist media presents you as a bunch of savages. Who are your top 3 mentors? Dr. Claude Anderson, Kenny Gamble, George C. Frazier, and Louis Farrakhan. We are interested in black men. Black men don't want us. That's not true. I think there are black men that do want you, but I agree. I know what you mean, though. There are some men out here that are a little bit backwards. They want women of other races. That forces us to exercise other dating options. I don't think that that's really true. I would encourage you to have a different perspective on that. Do you think some of the big-time high school athletes will attend HBCUs? Yes. You never talk about Bitcoin. What happened? I own Bitcoin. I own crypto. But you know what? I think at that time, back in 2017, 2018, I was probably a little overly sensitive to some of the criticism that came when crypto crashed. And even though I kept telling people crypto might crash, be really careful, diversify, all that, I still had people saying, oh, Dr. Boyce doesn't know what he's talking about because he told people to invest in Bitcoin. First of all, I never told anybody to invest. I told people what I was doing, and I felt that crypto was an emerging industry that had a lot of possibilities. But I also said, don't overinvest because this can end. This can crash. I tried to issue warnings, but people got drunk. They got financially drunk. And it's like even now, the stock market's like that now. Like everybody was making money so fast, so easy. Now you're getting a correction. Now you're going to learn today. You're going to learn today because now the stock market is collapsing, and it may continue to go down because of various factors that I've talked about on the Black Financial Channel. I won't go into this anymore, but you go to the Black Financial Channel, theblackfinancialchannel.com. I talk all about all of that, and you can understand what's really happening in the market right now. Let's see here. Do you feel that way every black person should have a therapist? Yes. And first of all, therapists are just great for you because they make you better. I don't care how much you're on your shit. I don't care how wonderful you are, how well you got to put together. I'm telling you, I am a big advocate for therapists. And if you feel like a therapist is a stigma, like oh, well, people are going to think I'm crazy, then fine, get a fucking coach. But you need somebody that's going to pull you outside of yourself because you're probably the biggest source of your own bullshit. You are your biggest adversary. You are your biggest blockade from all the things that you can become because you can't become better than who you are. You can't be greater than yourself. It's very hard to think outside of your brain, right? So in order for you to really grow, you need something outside of that. Like you can't be your own universe, right? You have to be, a person that is getting inputs from people that are outside of you, that see things different from you, that can give you perspectives and ways of thinking that you can't relate to or can't find on your own. So therapists are great because they're really great tools that can help you to process almost everything, to help you process your relationships better, to set your goals, to find your bliss, to deal with anxiety. And everybody's fucking crazy. I really believe this. I believe everybody's fucking crazy on the inside. We just all pretend like we got it together. Just know, ain't nobody out here got it all together. Ain't nobody really got it all together. Everybody's fucking crazy. I really believe that. And so, what happens is, there's basically two types of crazy people because everybody's fucking crazy. You got crazy people that have healthy or have some sort of coping mechanism that contains their crazy, and then you have crazy people who don't have healthy coping mechanisms. They maybe get hooked on drugs, or maybe they start killing people, or maybe they start acting a damn fool or getting triggered real easily and going off on people, right? So I encourage you to go join that first group. You are crazy. Just accept it. You're fucked up. You have things wrong with you. You have things you need to fix. You have areas you need to grow. You're not the person that you want to be. You're here. You're listening to me right now because you want to evolve. You're listening to me right now because you're not completely satisfied with where you are and who you are and what you've gotten to at this point. That's okay. That's good. That means you're going to get better. But growth is not comfortable. Growth is very painful. Growth is very awkward. It's always awkward. It's never smooth. It's never easy. It's like this simple transition. So find your coping mechanisms that will contain your bullshit so that you can either manage your issues or at least flip your issues into something that's going to benefit you as opposed to harm you. I think that's really important. So I'm crazy like everybody else, but I like to believe that I have ways to cope with my craziness so that I can manage it well enough to allow me to then focus on achieving my goal. A lot of people can't achieve their goal because their crazy is holding them back. Like you can't go out and conquer the world if you can't even get out of bed in the morning, or you can't even stop arguing with your girlfriend, or you can't, or you keep on sabotaging your own life. Like a lot of people do that. How can I walk off my job and leave the rat race? I would learn how to start a business. I think that's a good way to go. Let's see here. How do you feel about 2A? I have no idea what 2A is. I'm sorry. Did you end up watching Candace's video to Cardi regarding politics? No, I did not. I will go check that out. I think it's very fascinating to watch Cardi B and Candace Owens argue over which one's the bigger hooker. 80% of black men are married to black women. Yes, they are. Do you see another drop in the tech market? Probably. Blackness by Gwendolyn Brooks. Okay, I don't know that book, but it sounds interesting. Since this is not about money, you should put wifey on too. You would get more views. Yeah, I'll bring her in at some point. Yeah, people like her more than they like me. They should, because I'm not a likable person. Trump has done a few things for the black community. One is making sure HBCUs are funded. Yeah, he has, but he's also guilty of doing a lot of talking. I would like for him, anybody to just do more action, like write checks, cut checks. I believe you. However, that's all I see. A client and I just had this conversation earlier today. It's an epidemic where we live. Where do you live? That sounds terrible. Sheesh. Do you like Brother Polite? I met him once, and he was very polite when I met him. Get it? So he's a nice guy. I mean, but I don't know him. I don't know anything about what he does. But I did enjoy my engagement with him. He was very respectful, and he was familiar with me. I was familiar with him, and it was a very nice conversation. Yes, I agree. You should have a moment with your wife on your live. I will bring her in. Can you Yvette, Tariq ever heal and be friends again? Probably not. I'm friends with Tariq. Yvette, I tried. I texted her several times and reached out and tried to, because I didn't understand why she had so much animosity toward me. That didn't work out. So I don't know if it ever could, because I can't work with what you want. Sometimes, when a relationship gets damaged, beyond a certain point, you can't. It's hard to go backward. It's not even. It wouldn't even make sense anymore. So I'm not beefing with anybody. I just refuse to do that. But I don't see that and it's okay. Like, the world is big. Like, we don't have to be friends. It's all right. Is the new black media screwing up with all these beefs? Yeah, I think that they are. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the beefs. But then again, if I've ever participated in any of them, I apologize. Just know I ain't perfect. Yes, Nigerians do not give a F what you think about them. Yeah, Nigerians are great, man. I'm proud to be part Nigerian. Doc is on BBC that the entire Rochester Police Department have resigned due to a black man killed in police custody. Ooh, I gotta see that. I didn't hear about that. I listen to you every day and it's making me a better man. Good. I'm glad I can help. I'm glad I can. Remember, I'm an advisor. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm an advisor. I think the smartest thing any young person can do is to listen to older people who've made their mistakes. That way you can avoid the mistakes. You don't want to spend 10 years learning a lesson you could have learned in 10 minutes by just opening your ears and listening to people. I think that's just really important. The NFL sent a memo to players warning them about the Tulsa Fund. Yeah, and I thought that was unfair because they didn't. I think they just didn't want. They wanted the white and Jewish guys to get all the NFL player money. They didn't want black people getting that money. So I didn't like that. What I respect you for that comment. Oh, well, thank you. I love Jay and you too, Doc. Respect. Yeah, I like Jay. I mean, I he's always been nice to me. I can't say anything negative. I'm interested in the Black Options class. Yeah, the options class, you can go to blackoptionsinvesting.com. That's blackoptionsinvesting.com. Feel free to go. Blackoptionsinvesting.com. Travis Kelsey buys a building, inner city school. Kids can learn STEM. All right, good for Travis. So you ever see yourself moving from Chicagoland area? Yes. We're going to probably move in the next couple years. Hey, Doc, how did your father remain B1 and also be a police officer? My father's different from me. My father's a little more conservative than me. He's always been a black man, but he's not into the stuff I'm into, you know. I'm not. Me and my family don't all lie on the same political spectrum, but we get along very well because we just respect each other's beliefs. Like if I disagree with you, then fuck it, we just disagree. It's not like, oh my God, I can't talk to my parents anymore because they believe this or don't believe that. No, everybody has their beliefs, and we believe in freedom. We believe in freedom and accountability, personal responsibility. Your life is your life. Your choices are your choices. And nobody's here to clean up your messes. Nobody owes you nothing. You got to go out here and get it. That's how I was raised, and I love it. I'm so happy about that because I'm not good at victim talk and just saying I can't get ahead as a black man because white men won't give me nothing. Like I'm not good with that. That doesn't work for me. Let's see here. What fund should I invest in other than Jay Morrison's fund? There are thousands of funds out there, and some of them are good. We love Uncle Boyce. All right, good. Well, I'm glad. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing this then, since I'm glad it's helping. So I'm glad it's helping you. Just joined. Has anybody asked you why support Jay Morrison with all the? Because I support black businesses, and I think that there are white businesses that are stealing billions of dollars from the black community, and I think I think that's kind of, I think that we should at least spread it out a little bit. Like, why would all the hate be targeted in one particular area? I'm an investor in TREF. Seems like you can get at Cardi B and others, but can't speak on Jay and Michi. I still respect what you've done and are doing generally. Okay. Yeah, I think if you're an investor, I think you have a right to go ask questions, right? So if you're not, I think it's not about asking the question. It's about making sure it's coming from a good place. So if your goal is to make the fund better or to resolve an issue, then do that, right? Resolve the issue. But if you're making it into this big thing, I don't know what to do with that, right? That's what courts are for. That's what the FBI, CIA, SEC are for. So, that's what I say. Just go deal with it like that. That's cool. As far as Michi, I don't really talk about that. That's not really something I'm really interested in discussing. And Cardi B, yeah, I talk about Cardi B because it was relevant to the conversation at that time. So that's my 2 cents, and that's where I stand. How much do you charge to be my personal mentor? Probably more than you want to pay. I can't. And I charge a lot for personal one-on-one consultations, mainly because I don't like doing them. I like talking in groups. One-on-one is kind of tough. But if you're interested, go to theblackbusinessschool.com, or you can email actually support@theblackbusinessschool.com, support@theblackbusinessschool.com, and you can ask them what that would cost. And if that's something you really want to do, then feel free. But just know it's not cheap, and because my time's kind of limited. Also, though, if you are interested in like this kind of coaching sort of space, I love to give advice. I love to share what I know. So we actually created a program around that in the Black Business School. The first month is $1, and it's at blackkeystogreatness.com. That's blackkeystogreatness.com. So feel free to go to blackkeystogreatness.com, do the $1 trial, and there's a ton of stuff in there. And I really think this is the stuff I use to find success. Because success in this world requires you to think differently from everybody else. You must come up with your own unique recipe for success, because success is not served, in a standardized fashion. You will not get success and extraordinary success from most systems, especially systems designed for black people. Like the public school system isn't designed to create extreme success. It creates like employees and well-behaved citizens. Success is not created from the media. Media creates a bunch. It's a nigger factory. That's what it is. It teaches you how to be a nigger. Extreme success, doesn't come from thinking like everybody else, because most people don't become all that successful. Most people don't succeed. Most people, are lost and weak and broken and, can't go very far. So, my belief is that if you want success, you gotta make it. It's only designed a la carte. It's only designed like a gourmet meal. It's not. You can't get extreme success at McDonald's. So anyway, guys, it looks like my Instagram feed just went out. So I'm going to go ahead and take off anyway. I hope this conversation helped you. Feel free to go to blackkeystogreatness.com if you like this kind of thing. And I appreciate you guys listening, and it was fun. And I'm going to go upstairs and hang out with Alicia for a little bit. So